Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Roav, I guess is how it's pronounced, DashCam Duo. This is a camera that's, all the rage for ride sharing. It's got a camera that faces forward, a camera that faces to the rear. So that's kind of why it appealed to me. I bought this with my own money, and I thought I'd kind of share my experience for anybody else that's out there interested in a camera like this. I thought I'd show what's in the box, and we'll kind of go from there. Finally, oh, hey, it opens up that away. And inside, we got some nice looking boxing material. And inside here, if I can get this open, is the owner's manual, instruction manual. And inside here, we've got the camera. We have a dash tool if you have to take apart some of your plastic inside your car if you want to, if you're wanting to hide your power cable. Here is the 12-volt power adapter, and what I like about this is it's got two plugs. So that's kind of a handy little feature there. And here's the camera. And it's got a pretty good sized screen, as you can see. And then the rear camera faces back. This is the forward camera here. There's the speaker. Pretty good size screen on this. That's one of the things I'm liking about it. There's where the mount is and the USB connection. It's just a standard USB. I really like that as well. On the bottom is where all your buttons are laid out and your micro SD card slot. And then what's in this final little box over here? Let's see here. Oh, okay. We got the mount. Okay, interesting. It's got a stick to your windshield type mount as opposed to the suction cup mount, which is one of the selling points for me. Is the reason why I purchased this myself is because I hate suction cup mounts. I just think that in the Arizona sun, they just blow. They just always fall off my windshield. Here's a really long power cable. I'm really surprised at how long that power cable is. What else is in here? Another mount. It's the same mount. I think maybe they should have put in a suction cup mount for those people that want a suction cup mount. Putting in two of the same exact mount. I mean, maybe that'll come in handy in the future. I'm not sure. I think it's actually pretty impressive, the packaging and how it's presented. So let's get on to checking it out. Okay, guys, how I'm going to do this review, I think, I've never done a dash cam review, but I thought I'd do it like this. I wanted to kind of point out this as something that we need to take a look at. This is footage right off of the camera as I'm driving. Notice the license plates. I know a lot of people care about this. So notice the license plates on the vehicles as we pass by. And notice that they're not really readable. I mean, you can freeze a frame, zoom into it, and enhance it, and you could probably read the license plate. And I know that reading through reviews of this camera on Amazon, I noticed that a lot of people are saying a lot about the fact that you can't read license plates, that the video clarity is not such that you can clearly read license plates. And that is true. The video quality of this camera is slightly disappointing. I'll put up a clip right now so you can see. Just kind of take a look at this video quality right here. And let me put up a comparison clip to like a 5 or 6 year old dash cam so you can kind of see the difference. Okay, here's my original dash cam that I have just replaced. Notice that the GPS coordinates are embedded in the video. On the new camera, they are not. That's kind of something to keep in mind that I didn't like. The date and time, I believe, is there. But as we drive by these cars, and my windshield is completely dirty, I understand that. But this is just a clip that I found from my old dash cam. And you can see that the video quality is worse on this one, but it's not by a lot. And you can't see the license plates until you're pretty close to them. Very similar to the video quality of the new cam. I just don't think that the video quality is this camera's strongest suit. However, that being said, I will say that I've been running a dash cam for many years, and it has saved my bacon on many occasions where somebody said something or accused me of something or whatever, and I had video evidence that their story did not match up. I've been in an accident where my dash cam saved my bacon, so I am a firm believer in dash cams. Now, in all of the instance, in all of my experience with a dash cam, the only time reading a license plate has ever come into play where you need that detail to read a license plate, it's only happened to me once in all of that time. So take that for what it's worth. I don't think that the ability to read license plates from a distance in a video is as important as the actual event that took place. Okay, here is a clip of the inside camera. Now, this is where I think this camera does quite a bit better in the video quality department. The only thing that I would complain about here with the inside camera footage is that the field of view is a bit narrow. This is a crew cab pickup truck, and you can see that the two front passengers are very, are just in the frame, So if you had a full-size truck or a large car, there might be a portion of the people's body kind of out of frame. You can see the entire back seat, so that's kind of what this is for anyway. This is kind of trying to film ride-sharing type stuff, so it does do that real well. The bit rate for these videos for both the front camera and the rear camera, they're at about 11 to 12 megabits per second. So that amount of information is a little on the low side, but I see what they're doing because they're recording two cameras at the same time. So I can kind of see why they keep the bit rate lower, and when they keep the bit rate lower, the quality of the video suffers. But in a dash cam, I really honestly don't believe that you need extremely good video quality. It's used for the purposes of evidence to disprove or prove your case. And, whatever the situation is, that's kind of what it's for. If you're wanting a dash camera that kind of provides you a video of everything that happens, and you want to use it for like I'm doing right here, and you want to use it in YouTube videos and things of that nature, you're going to want to go to a dash camera that does 2.7K or a higher bit rate. But the reason why this one records in a lower bit rate is because it's recording two cameras simultaneously. There are cameras that can do front-facing camera, higher bit rate, higher resolution, rear-facing camera, lower resolution. So, I mean, that's something to think about. If you don't need that, this camera, I think, does a good job for the price. Okay, now let's take a look at some nighttime footage. This is some footage that took place at, 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night. As you can see, the information, this is what's transposed onto the video at all times, bottom left-hand corner. You got the name of the camera for who knows what reason, the date, and the time, and your speed. This is what's transposed onto the video. Your GPS coordinates are not transposed onto the video, which is kind of a little bit disappointing. I don't know why they did that, but it's not a deal breaker or anything. But this is kind of what you can expect from city driving at night. Let's take a look at the inside camera at night. Okay, now this is the exact same video, me taking that same turn. This is the video of the inside at night with the night vision on with the infrared camera. This is kind of what you can expect. Now, this is one of the downsides to this camera. See how the infrared only lights the center? You can still see the entire back seat, but see how it's only half of my face, the entire one half of my body is missing. Now imagine there's a passenger in the passenger side. you're just going to get the other half of their face. It's just not lighting up the inside of the cabin very well at all when the cab is completely dark. You know, you can see it's just super narrow, but again, it is accomplishing the main goal, and that is lighting up the back seat. About the software that you use with this. In order to get this software, you have to go to a URL that's a Dropbox URL. It's kind of weird. And you go to this Dropbox URL that's in your instruction manual, and you'll download this. Now, I'm not sure if this thing will update you, if there's an update to this software, but my guess is this is the way the software is going to be from here until the end of this whole thing, I think. I'm not sure. But you can see that it's kind of a split, like each section is a different thing. You know, you've got your main video camera, then you've got your motion, graph at the bottom. You've got your compass, speed, direction. But anytime you click on something, they all change position. And it's, it's not great. Okay, so I thought I'd show you what it's like when you're playing a video in here. So I'm just playing a video. It actually shows your GPS position on the map, on Google Maps, by the way. It shows you a list of the files that you can play within a folder. That's all there. Like, this thing does everything that you want it to do. It just doesn't do it great. Now, if you needed the GPS coordinates, what I figured out is I can screen record the GPS coordinates. Notice now that you do, in fact, have GPS coordinates on that little thing. And I'm okay with this because this is rarely needed for me and my personal use. But if you are a person who needs this part of the DashCam feature to work very well and it just be a great thing, this camera is a little bit lacking in this area. So just something to think about. This is what it looks like. And again, if you click anywhere outside this screen, all of this stuff repositions in groups behind the main screen, which is the most annoying thing I have ever experienced in a program. However, that being said, this does work. It works reliably, and that's the plus side to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and bottom line this for you guys. Whether or not I think that this camera is worth your time, is it worth your money? And considering that this camera, when I purchased it, was in the $80 range, and I think that the price kind of fluctuates depending on Amazon's, whatever, algorithm or whatever. I think if you consider that it's half the price of the next most popular unit, and you're not forced to use a suction cup because that mount has the GPS module built into it. I think if you take into consideration the cost and the performance of it based on that cost, I think it's a good product. I think it's worth purchasing and keeping it. I was on the fence about returning it and buying the more expensive model. Garmin has a new camera that just came out, and I almost returned this and got the new Garmin camera, but that camera is $300. So this one's $80. It works great. I didn't talk anything about the parking feature because honestly, I haven't used it much. Nobody's triggered it, I should say, and it's not easy to manual trigger. One final thing that I would say is that the way that this camera sets up the files, it's got a feature like it senses a shock and then it like starts recording an accident, kind of feature. A lot of dash cams have that. But this one was a little sensitive. I drive a four-wheel drive pickup, and it rides a little bumpy, and it has different levels of settings that you can set that to. And I set it to the lightest setting, and it was still going off frequently. And the problem with that is that it sets those files into a separate file within the camera, and those don't get erased or wrote over. So when it loop records, when you fill up that folder with a bunch of files that it thinks is an accident or some sort of jarring situation, it fills up your memory card, and then you have to go in and reformat it or get rid of those files. So what I did personally is I just turned that completely off. It's got a manual button to start an emergency recording, so I just use that personally. But that was just another thing that I wanted to mention about it. Other than that, I would say if I had a 5-star scale, I would give this about a 3 out of 5. And I think it's a solid purchase for somebody on a budget who needs a camera like this, and maybe you want to upgrade to a more expensive one later or whatever. But this one works. I haven't had any problems with it. It's a solid choice for the money. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please thumb it up, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.